How you maintain your love during the pandemic? Our whole goal is to be a hub for marriages all across the world, right? We know that the world is struggling, and so what we want to do is we want to become something that can give content, that can be tools, and can be a hub where whatever you need, you can come to it. This particular documentary, though, is going to be content where we are giving something, even if we're long gone off the scene. It's a tool to help people to keep running, even when they want to give up. Let me tell you why I'm asking that. There's some marriages didn't make it through the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
The world and in church.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about it. How y'all make it through the pandemic?
You know what's funny is I actually think we got closer in the pandemic. And I think those are the two options. Either people pulled apart or either they drew closer.
I didn't know what to do. It was a pandemic. We couldn't go anywhere. Everything was shut down. So I went to Walmart. I got some lights and I put it in the back of our SUV. I let all the seats down. I got some of those battery operated tea lights. I got pillows and blankets. I got food and our laptop for Netflix. Got in the back of the SUV, and that was anniversary.
That was my birthday.
Was it January? It was cold.
That's why you had the car running for the heat.
That's true. I knew it was one of these days, one of these major days. But we just had to be creative. And we honestly didn't learn that until the pandemic. So the pandemic kind of...
It forced our hand on a lot of stuff, which I'm sure it did with a lot of people. But the pandemic was not 100% easy. I have not stopped working since the pandemic hit. Literally, I have been working from day one. I have come in contact with at least 3 people who tested positive. By the grace of God, I did not. I can't even count how many times I've been tested, but the pandemic has been challenging with me always going to work. Again, when I've come in contact with, there was a couple of times where I would not come in the house because I came in contact with somebody, so it's like I had to quarantine myself outside of the house until I get tested, and then I can come back in. But as far as us as a couple, our marriage, it has at times stretched us, and then at times it has brought us closer together. So it's kind of neutral. For lack of better words, it balanced itself out because we had some good and we also had some bad. So
I think really it was communication. I think talking, and I think I'm not talking about any other couples because I don't know what people go through, but I think God had a way of making you face each other. Those things that you didn't want to talk about, those things that you keep silent about, those things that you try to ignore because most couples sometimes live like roommates. I think during the pandemic you had to face that. So I think some of the strong survived, and I think we became closer because of communication.
The hardest part about marriage is cohabitation. Men and women are different. I like this way, you like that way. So to spend every minute, a moment in the house with your significant other, it takes a strength that you cannot even understand. You know? But I think for us, it was kind of because we had just got over that first year.
Yeah. And we're still in the newlywed phase too.
So because of everything, we never really got to have a honeymoon phase, I was working a high demanding job, we both worked high demanding jobs. The thing was happening with health, so man, during that season, we really got to love on each other.
Yeah.
Like, this is the first time we really got, other than our honeymoon, this was the first time we really got to sit in each other's face and just irritate each other and laugh and
And we had fun. We learned how to play games.
Yeah,
we cooked.
We had fun.
A baby came out of it.
So. Doc, we was having fun. So yeah, it was for that season. It was the first time we really got to know each other.
I think ours is a little different than everybody else's. I always yell at Dan. He like loves ordering stuff, like getting packages. He feels uncomfortable if there's not a box outside of our door when he gets home. Like, and then he'll go on his phone and have to order something. So he ordered it's called a sling, but it's like a live stream that you can take with you anywhere. And this was before the pandemic started, before COVID hit us. And I'm like, why do we need that? And then the pandemic hit us. And we were the only people like in the city who knew what, live stream was supposed to look like. Everybody was trying to do it, but nobody really, it didn't really look nice, especially the bigger pastors. Like we do Perfecting Now, CTAB, like they didn't have a system. It was like they weren't prepared, but God obviously told him to get that, and I was just confused. Like, okay, you want to buy that? Fine.
Yeah. Why are you spending $2,300
Yeah.
right now? You never said they had to buy the boxes. Why do you need these cameras? I'm like,
It was definitely a blessing. So I
just learning.
think the other marriages are falling because they're stuck at home with each other and they have to see like every single side of that person. And ours was like the complete opposite. We don't get to be at home. But it's not that it's a complacency thing. Like, it's a blessing that we get to work Monday through Sunday and we don't have to like worry about our bills. We actually bought our house a couple months after the pandemic started, and it was because of the pandemic. Like, it really has changed us. I had to get used to working so much because it's definitely a big difference, and it's not like creative stuff that we usually do. It's just ministry. And ministry can take a lot out of you if you you don't know how to handle it, but we have to look at it as serving, and God really blesses us for it. So
I was telling him in the car, although the pandemic was a global crisis, I had never spent so much time with him.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't travel. So he was at home. So our family quality time was amazing.
Church was closed. Everything.
Everything was online, and we even got our children into sports. Mm-hmm. And so that was some of the best family time we had in years, because he travels.
Yeah.
So when everything was shut down, he was able to work from home and be with us. So I'm okay. I was straight.
Yeah. I would get up at like 5 in the morning, like I was going to a job, and I would practice until they wake up. And then when they wake up, that's when I put it up, and we spend time together. We cook.
Yeah.
I take the kids outside while she would rest, and we would watch movies every night, like literally like clockwork every night. And yeah, so we just, and I would either try to work early in the morning or late at night when they sleep. So just because I was always playing on a song, learning music, or going to rehearsal, and all that came to a screeching halt. So yeah. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't doing that while they were up, So we spent some great time together.
One of the things that we bonded on mostly though was DIY projects around our home.
Yeah.
So because we were at home more than normal, but not as much as a lot of other people, some of the time that we did have at home was like, okay, let's do something around our house. Let's make this house do something or look like something that we're not used to. Let's change it up. Let's change up the atmosphere. Let's throw paint here, change light fixtures there. Just little stuff that we were able to collaborate on, but kind of add some character to the home. And we're still doing that to this day. And we've learned that that's a place for us to bond, become creative, and do things in the house, but also make the house more like us.
Yeah.
It wasn't easy. We had to realize this is different for the world. Mm-hmm. It's different for our home. I had to become a teacher. I had to become a counselor, a lunch lady, a stay-at-home mama. I had to become all of those things together. So just realizing everyone was dealing with things in their own right, in their own way. And I think that's how it was the communication. But, it wasn't easy.
Sometimes we have things that we address. When she was talking about communication, we normally, address certain things. We're expecting each other to do certain things, act a certain way, respond a certain way. And in the pandemic, things just wasn't the same. Case in point would be like if she cooked dinner every night, and that was something that I expected in the middle of a pandemic. If she ordered pizza, I can't say, well, hey, what's going on? What you ordering pizza for? In my mind, I would say, okay, this is a pandemic past. Like, she's probably fed up with cooking. She's probably fed up with being in this house. She's probably those are things that you had to give each other a pass on. What I'm learning in my maturity in marriage is you definitely have to choose your battles. And so you have to learn what am I going to speak up about? What am I going to address? Is it worth addressing, or do I just let it play out or let God handle it? Because sometimes you open up a can of worms that you can't get back. The whole term of can of worms, it's all over the place. Now if you'd have just been quiet, how many times do you have to have those moments where you're like, man, if I would have just been quiet, we wouldn't even be in this situation. So that pandemic past said, look, be careful of what you're addressing in this pandemic. You got to be here 24/7. I started working from home, so this was not just my home, but it was also my office. This, you want to keep peace in your house. So you have to get past on certain things. You can't address everything in a pandemic.
I think with the pandemic, we all know that there was different levels of the pandemic, and each moment of the pandemic wasn't the same. So of course, when it first hit, we was stuck in the house. I mean, I was still going to work because I was an essential worker, but we were mainly stuck. And during that moment, it was like we had to really just come together. And but we would butt heads a lot because you can't just go out into the world or go sit down and eat or go to the mall or anything like that. So in that moment, I think we just had to sit back and just really assess what we were really going through. And then as the world opened up, we did more together. We started going out a little bit more. Of course, when the world first opened up, I was like the guinea pig. I went out first to make sure everything was cool. And then we started going out a little bit more.
The most important thing, what we do, how we survive anything but the pandemic, is we get up in the morning, we pray together. And I tell anybody, you have to pray together. If you're not on one accord with God, then you're not going to make it through a lot of things. And God know about this pandemic. He know when it's going to end. He know how it started. And he give us instructions in Scripture how to deal with it, and that's be obedient to him. And if we be obedient to him, we're going to be obedient to each other. So we get up and we obey the laws, the health laws. And they say wear a mask, because they told us, because I guess we got that thing way before it was even there. And we were sick. She was sick. I was sick. And then the VA called me and told me I had viral pneumonia. So basically, they told us to go in separate rooms, but we didn't do that. We just put our masks on and got into bed. We still slept, but we maintained our integrity. I said, I ain't separating from her. God got this. So we did that, but we stayed active. We stayed active basically through the pandemic, and we still being active.
We saw each other every day. And not that we didn't before, but I mean, every day, every second, every minute. And we got on each other's nerves a lot. Like, we annoyed the crap out of each other because we got to see different flaws of each other. And it was like, God was like, okay, I'm shutting everything down because everybody, now you have to deal with the root of stuff. So we dealt with a lot, I want to be really transparent that our marriage isn't perfect. because a lot of people see the outside, and no marriage is perfect, but we really got to see, like, oh, our marriage not perfect. Like we got a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do. I had a lot of work to do on myself. God was dealing with me, myself, and God was dealing with Bernard, with himself, and then together it was like, okay, and our marriage need work too. So yeah, it was. It took us communicating with each other and counseling, and we wasn't gonna do that at first. Like
I wanted to do counseling. She was against it.
I was pretty much like, we can handle this ourselves. We can do this ourselves. And it got to the point where it was like, okay, we need somebody. We need somebody. And thank God for our spiritual parents, our first lady and our pastor, Pastor Belk and Lady Belk. They already have marriage and counselors. They already have marital counseling, and their thing is stick, stay, and pray. So that was perfect for us because that's literally what we needed to do was stick, stay, and pray. We met with them, and they helped us get to the root of some things, and we're still, we still in it, but we in it together. So
yeah, everything she said, even the fact that it helped me learn to listen, you know what I'm saying, more to the Holy Spirit, and also be able to kind of like lead, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know, I was just on Facebook and I saw one of them random Facebook ads for like live streaming, portable live stream. I didn't know I was going to have a portable live stream business. I was being prepared for that, you know what I'm saying? And I took that opportunity to, invest, you know what I'm saying, before my responsibilities came too hectic, and it put us in a position. And I think God was doing that for us because I do look at ministry like serving. And when I do media ministry, it's not a job, you know what I'm saying? Like, I agree to whatever the money is, but, once I'm there, or once I, get attached to what's happening, if I believe in what we're doing, you know what I'm saying? It's like, whatever we got to do to make it happen. That means we got to be here for 12 hours. We got to come back tomorrow. If I don't get to sleep tonight, like, I want to make sure that what God is showing you, I'm a vessel to help, accomplish. And it's made us stronger because my wife, she don't trip on me when I'm up all night, or when I gotta sleep for 2 hours, and then, you know what I'm saying? Like, she don't think I'm out doing something crazy, or she don't think like I'm giving too much, or like, you know what I'm saying? Like, she allows me to be free and serve, because she know where my heart is and who I'm around.
When we got married, we didn't really know each other.
No.
Didn't really know each other.
When we look back on our wedding video, great time, the haze there, we were rocking, but we did not know each other at all. Like, we don't know, like, who was that? Because you transition so much. And like I said, after that first year, we was like, man, this second year, we just know, like, we meant to be together because we survived that first year. Mm-hmm. So for us, it was just like, okay, let's figure out how to work marriage our way.
Yeah.
Because that first year, we tried to do it how we thought we should do it, or how we thought we saw it, but really, we thought about it, and we never had a model of a good marriage. My parents were married, but we never had a model of how marriage supposed to.
Like a good Christian foundation of like a marriage. So we decided, like, okay, how can we be us? Like, I need to know how to be Darren's wife. He needs to know how to be my husband. So that was our thing in that second year. And I think for a lot of couples, if they would have went back to that basic step of how can I be so-and-so's wife and so-and-so's husband, versus you have so much of the world on you, and so many views that have infiltrated your marriage from social media, from your family, from people. I think if everyone just kind of like stripped themselves and went back to the basics, that would have helped entirely a lot because you could have took so many pressures and things off of you.
For example, I am an extreme extrovert, so COVID was hard for me.
I was chilling.
I need to be outside. Like I need to be outside. I need to be interacting with people. I'm a people person to the core of me. And so she's an extreme introvert. You know what I'm saying? She enjoys being in the house. So at that moment in time, I got to see like, okay, let me do this introvert. You know, we started reading. You know, it was my first time I would, read. You know, it was the first time like you said, we started playing games, but it was more so hard for me. So it was times she just be like, go for a drive, like go out, get out, like and people think that our marriage is kind of weird in the fact that every night we didn't sleep in the same bed. I like watching TV at night. She don't. We got a 2-bedroom for a reason. I can go in another room. Like we don't have to, but in that first year we was kind of thinking like, oh, we gotta do this way and that way. But in that second year, man, we learned how to do marriage our way.
Yeah.
And it's been great.
If I can add, like I really appreciated that. Like he was so intentional about his schedule to allow for that good quality time to take place. He would be up 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, while we were asleep, because when we were up, he wanted to be present. And so I really appreciated that. And I think that's important. And even like women are, I'm going to say it. Women are, we're planners. Yeah. And to see him do that, like be intentional with his schedule, I was just like really impressed by that. Yeah, I was.
And it was, it's certain shows she watched that I didn't like. But she liked to watch the Hallmark. That's her jam. And I was like, okay.
That's my
let me just,
take these love stories on a Saturday.
And, and it made her happy. So it's like, hey, it's worth it. It's worth it.